Announced that there will likely be no non-conference games for the 2020 college football season and for every fall sport in general. And of course, this has a very big impact on the sports world. It looks like we're going to be seeing several conferences decide to do kind of the same thing that the Big Ten is doing by canceling all of their non-conference games. In turn, we're going over my analysis on this and why I think it could have been, or why I think it may not have been, a good decision by the Big Ten. We're also going to be going over a channel update here because, of course, having the Big Ten cancel all their non-conference games, it's going to have a big impact on how we're going to do our prediction videos and how we're going to do everything here on this channel. So anyway, with that, of course, the Big Ten, once again, they've canceled all of their fall sport non-conference games for the 2020 season. And I mean, this was kind of expected, of course. I mean, there had to have been, or there has to be some sort of restriction going about this. And it looks like, I mean, at this point in time, it's just going to be really tough to be able to fit in everything that's going on right now. I mean, everything is very uncertain right now. Like, we have no idea whether or not there's even going to be a college football season in general. So there's a lot of concern there, and there's going to be a lot of concern for many colleges. I mean, there's a lot of colleges that rely mainly on the non-conference games. Of course, I mean, if you look at the FCS teams that play the FBS teams, I mean, there are several Big Ten teams that were playing FCS teams here this season. And that's going to have a big impact on them in general. I mean, that's a huge money source for those FCS schools. And for general, I mean, for the FBS schools, it's going to be a big impact for them as well. And so, I mean, it's going to be a weird situation, I think. And I mean, going forward, I just have a feeling over the next couple of weeks, we're going to really see some big changes in these conferences. And I think for the Big Ten, this really just started a big domino effect, I would say. I think, honestly, we're not going to see any non-conference games in the nation for next season. I mean, I think all Power 5 conferences and possibly all FBS conferences in general will be canceling their non-conference games. I mean, I think that's just the best option right now. And if we can't even get a college football season, I mean, I'd totally be down with how they're going to plan on doing it with just having a conference, just a conference schedule, which, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with having an 8 or 9 game season. But in general, yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and it's still really tough to tell as to whether or not the Big Ten's going to keep going with a 9-game season, or whether or not they're going to try to extend it by adding in a couple of other conference opponents. I mean, there's still a lot of uncertainty there. So, I mean, of course, it's really tough to say whether or not that's going to happen. But will there still be a football season next year? And of course, I mean, you've heard many analysts over the past week say that it is absolutely impossible to have a college football season this fall. And for me, honestly, I mean, as much as I'd like to have a college football season, it's just really tough right now to say whether or not. I mean, of course, we're in just about mid-July right now, and of course, everything is seemingly still a problem in the nation. So, I mean, it's just tough to say whether or not we're going to be able to have a football season, which, as much as I'd like to have one, and as much as, I mean, it'd be great for everyone coming out of this really, really unprecedented time. I mean, it's just really tough to think whether or not we're going to have one at this point. I mean, many people expected this entire virus thing to be much better at this point. And looking at where we're at right now, I mean, there's still just a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not it's going to happen. But how will the schedule change with this? Of course, I mean, there have been options that have been discussed by some people about how the Big Ten may extend their schedule to 12 games, but just add in 3 new conference opponents. I mean, there's a possibility of that, and possibly every Big Ten team plays every team. But, I mean, at this point, it just looks like they're going to keep with the 9-game schedule. I'm not quite sure why they would cancel the non-conference games if they were just going to replace them with Big Ten games. So I do think that they're going to keep with the 9-game season. But was this the right move is the big question here, and it's just really tough to say. I mean, if you look at some teams that are playing each other in the Big Ten this season, for example, Nebraska and Rutgers are playing each other in Rutgers. And if you look at how far of a distance that is for Nebraska to travel to Rutgers, it is quite a distance. I mean, those two teams are the furthest apart of any teams in the Big Ten Conference. And so thinking about that, I mean, it kind of confuses me a little bit why, for example, Rutgers can't play Temple, which Temple's only like 65 miles away from Rutgers. Meanwhile, Nebraska being, I think, 1,300 miles away, they can still play each other. So it's still just very confusing to me why this even happened in the first place. I mean, I just don't really understand the thinking behind this. But of course, I mean, obviously the people and the experts that are behind this do know what they're talking about. So I guess we'll have to trust them on that. But I mean, still, it's just really tough to say right now why this even happened in the first place. I mean, it's just a very unprecedented time, and everything is so unpredictable right now. Like, I mean, I couldn't bet a single penny that we'll be having a college football season. I mean, there's just so much uncertainty there, and it's just really tough to say whether or not, I mean, anything's even going to happen this fall. I mean, yeah, things can change in a blink of an eye, and that's what I'm really concerned about as far as going about the college football season. Here's our channel update as well. Of course, this is really going to impact how we're going to be doing our team prediction videos. Of course, we've gone through pretty much the entire Big Ten. I think we have only 5 teams left. I think we've gone through 8 or 9, all the way through Michigan State. So, I mean, for the rest of the teams, of course, in the Big Ten, we're going to be taking out the non-conference games, and we'll just be grading them based off of their 9 games. So that's how we're going to go about that. But as far as the teams that we've already done prediction videos on, I think I'm just going to leave those up. I'm not going to upload new prediction videos for every team just because this happened. I mean, if you take away your 3 non-conference games, basically you'll find the same result that I've already predicted. So really, there's no point there, I would say, in having to re-predict every single team in the FBS. And so I think I'll probably leave the teams that I've already predicted up, but we will be changing the teams quite a bit in the future for the teams that I've not predicted or given a preview on quite yet. Like, we've hardly even done any of the Pac-12, until the Pac-12 officially decides that they'll be canceling all non-conference games, I still will be grading them based off of their non-conference games. But once again, until that happens, I mean, it's just really tough to say. But we will be having updated team record videos. These will be released, I believe, in a couple of weeks. I'll be doing these after we've finished off the conference previews fully. So we'll be going over every team individually. Then once all of those previews are done, then we'll be releasing a conference video where we're going to be going over every record in that conference and their updated record in general. So we're also going to be doing this by division. So we're not going to be doing it by conference. We'll be doing it by division, just so that it just kind of is a more clear view, and we're not having to cram in so many teams all at once. So, I mean, of course, for the Big 12, we'll just go over the entire conference all at once. But for example, for the Big 10, we'll go over the Big 10 East again and the Big 10 West again in separate videos, basically is what I'm saying here. And here's the plan for the channel in case, of course, we have no football season this fall. And, I mean, of course, it's still very unprecedented. I mean, we could easily still have a football season. I still think it's an option. And of course, there are several options out there that people are talking about possibly having a football season. And honestly, one of the big popular opinions that a lot of experts have had is pushing the football season to the spring. And this has been a really weird surprise for me. I mean, just kind of listening to these experts talking about moving the football season to spring. I mean, yeah, it's quite surprising. I mean, I can't imagine having a football season between January, February, and March, and possibly into April. I just don't think it's going to work. And I mean, if you think about the weather in those situations, especially for the teams such as Minnesota, Wisconsin, you could say the 2 Michigan teams, I mean, it's just going to be way too cold. The weather's going to be terrible for the teams up north. And just in general, I just don't think it's a good idea. So, I mean, I feel like for the college football season, it's either do it now or we're never going to do it. Like, I just can't imagine them pushing it off to the spring. But honestly, though, as far as the plan for the channel goes, basically, I'm going to be going about this as if we're still having a college football season. So we're going to be predicting teams, and we're still going to be doing simulations, etc., according to the 2020 season. So we will not be changing that yet. And in the case that they do decide to cancel this season, which I really hope they don't, but in the case that they do that, in the case that does happen, I think what we'll do is we'll continue. Of course, I probably will be limiting the analysis videos quite a bit. I'll probably be having maybe just 1 a day of those. Typically, I mean, lately we've been doing 2 to 3 analysis videos a day, which those are such as the prediction videos and stuff like that. So we'll probably be limiting those a little bit because there's going to be nothing to really do analysis on. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to up the simulations a lot if this does happen. So we'll probably be having 2 to 3 simulations a day if we do end up having the football season canceled, which I'll probably stick to 2 just because, I mean, fall is a very, very busy season for me and for many people in general, especially if in my state they continue to keep things going. But of course, we're going to keep on doing analysis videos. We just won't be doing really prediction videos. We'll be doing a lot of kind of various things. So, of course, I really don't like to talk about this right now. I still am really hoping, I'm still really optimistic that there will be a college football season, but that's just in case that there is not a football season. We will be doing a lot more simulations, and we will be limiting the analysis videos a little bit just going into next season. So, yeah, that's kind of what the plan is right now. Of course, things can still change. And of course, we've got something planned, or I've got something planned for the football season. It's going to be some sort of tournament. I'm not going to announce it quite yet. Of course, I'm planning on announcing that once we get to August. And I think it's a great idea, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it a ton, which will keep that going in the case that a football season still gets canceled. Nothing's going to change there. But we will probably be adding fan-requested videos to the mix as well, because what my plan was originally was we'd probably cut down just to one simulation a day once we got to the football season, just because one, it's super busy, and two, we've got football going on, real football, and so I'd probably just cut it down to one simulation a day, and just do our tournament games. But in the case of football season does get canceled, we would probably do a fan simulated game along with a tournament game, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, of course, on the Big Ten right now. And yeah, once again, we're just going to be going over, well, nothing's really going to change. We're just going to be doing our prediction videos a little bit differently, and we will be releasing updated record videos for the conferences as we move forward. But anyway, with that, it's kind of a messy situation right now once again. So I thank you guys all for sticking with me through this time. It's just a mess right now, and yeah, hopefully it gets better. Once again, I'm still really hoping that we do have a football season. That would honestly be the best thing possible. But in the end, though, do let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this. And yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts. But then again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. And I'll see you all later.